The college football world is on fire right now, and the epicenter is Oxford, Mississippi. Lane Kiffin's shocking departure from Ole Miss to join their bitter rival, LSU, was always going to be messy. But now, it's turning into a full-blown public feud, with players directly calling out their former coach. Let's break down this absolute soap opera. It all started with Kiffin's farewell message. He posted a statement on social media explaining his move. In it, he claimed he wanted to finish the season and lead Ole Miss through the college football playoff. He said, and I quote, "My request to do so was denied by Keith Carter despite the team also asking him to allow me to keep coaching them." He painted a picture of a coach who wanted to see it through for his guys, but was blocked by the administration. It was a narrative that positioned him as a loyal leader being pushed out the door before the job was done. Well, that narrative didn't last long. It took just a few hours for the players, the very people Kiffin claimed wanted him to stay, to start speaking out. The first domino to fall was offensive lineman Bryson Sanders. He quote-tweeted Kiffin's statement with a simple, yet devastating message: "Despite the team asking me to keep coaching." I think everyone that was in that room would disagree. Boom. Right there. A current player is publicly refuting the core of Kiffin's goodbye letter. Sanders is essentially saying, hey, that meeting didn't go down the way you're telling everyone it did, and he wasn't alone. Soon after, another key player, defensive star Sunnery Perkins, chimed in, adding even more fuel to the fire. Perkins directly replied to Kiffin, writing, "That was not the message you said in the meeting room. Everybody that was in there can vouch on this. This is incredible." We now have multiple players from both sides of the ball, directly contradicting their former head coach's public statement. They are making it clear that whatever Kiffin said to them behind closed doors was very different from the story he is now spinning to the public. The united front Kiffin tried to project is crumbling, being dismantled by his own players on a public forum. This whole situation is unprecedented. A coach leaving for a major rival is always a big deal, but to have players immediately and publicly dispute the coach's version of events is next-level drama. It suggests the split was far from amicable and that the feelings in the locker room are raw. Kiffin's move to LSU made him one of the highest-paid coaches in the sport, and reports indicate Ole Miss made a very competitive offer to keep him. But clearly, something else was going on. The players' reactions show a team that feels betrayed and isn't afraid to say so. So where does Ole Miss go from here? The Rebels are moving on. They've named Pete Golding as the new head coach, and in an interesting twist, offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr. will be allowed to stay and coach the team through their playoff run. It seems the administration is trying to provide some stability for the players as they head into the most important games of their season. The players, for their part, seem more than ready to turn the page. Their public comments aren't just about correcting the record, they're a declaration. They're saying, "We're moving on, and we're doing it without you." This saga is far from over. Lane Kiffin will now be coaching against these very players every year in the SEC West. The first Ole Miss versus LSU game with Kiffin on the Tigers' sideline is already shaping up to be one of the most anticipated and potentially hostile matchups of next season. The players have drawn a line in the sand, and they're ready to play for Ole Miss, with or without Lane Kiffin. What a wild time in college football. We'll be keeping a close eye on this, so make sure you're subscribed for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching.